Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Patriot Patch Company and Camerado. One thing to mention, and I put it in the show notes, but Gideon Optics, we actually have a network-wide discount code for Gideon Optics, because Gideon Optics is sponsoring the entire Firearms Radio Network.
Okay. Nice.
My computer gets a duck call. So, yeah, so I've been having some interesting issues with internet, and as a result, other issues. So, where'd it go? Okay, so that's not working. Dumb. Dooby-dooby-doo. And I think Paul just had computer issues. So, lovely. Hey, maybe we're making progress here now. Anyway, so I picked up a couple things. So scope mount and scope and a Tapco duckbill for my SKS. I don't know if any of it's going to work or not. We'll find out. It's a Norinco, so theoretically it should all work, but you know how that works. So, and then the other thing I got is a lovely little Crimson Trace red dot on a hell of a deal.
What are you throwing that on?
I don't know yet.
So it was that kind of hell of a deal where you just going to buy it and figure it out later, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't put that in the group chat?
Well, see, if you were signed up for it because you paid attention to other podcasts on the network, you would know.
I was gone. I was MIA in the woods with 100 women.
No, that's not my problem.
Oh, damn. Feel the love or lack thereof.
I sure in the heck ain't gonna go spend. So, Sean and the gang over at We Like Shooting have a thing going on called Deal Bro. And so what he did is he has them scouring, kind of if you follow like Guns and Gear. He sends out little notifications of deals and stuff. So Sean does the same thing with Deal Bro. I have Telegram anyway, and so I get messages on Telegram telling me, like as I'm scrolling through here, just the stuff from recent. TSIS PX57 for $299. I won't tell anybody that because it's a cheap Turkish crap. CMC AR single stage flat drop-in trigger for $99. Fiocchi Range Dynamics 55 grain full metal jacket. 50 rounds for $24.99. Radical Firearms for RF15 for $3.99. So AR15 for $3.99. excuse me. A 3-pack of Glock 17, 19, or 34 magazines and 100 rounds of MagTech or Max Tech 9mm for $89.99. Swamp Fox Justice for $99.99. So all sorts of stuff. PSA Dagger Micro C1 Complete Slide Assembly for $349. So, and either the firearms radio page went full potato, or my Google browser's gone full potato. One of the two. So and for by the way, for that $349.99, that comes with a Hollow Sun 407K. So basically, you're basically getting the dagger slide for free. So, excuse me. But I mean, that's the type of thing. So, because Sean, like us, likes helping people spend their money. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. We got a bunch of Winchester primers in at Cabela or Bass Pro the other day, but I don't know what type they were. Supposedly, there were some large rifle and large Magnum rifle, but I was busy and didn't get to look. So, if I get a chance to look, I will. Spent some time explaining to somebody that when you actually look into the pricing, it's not actually all that expensive for reloading. So yeah, it appears there's something wrong with the website. Fun. Excuse me. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to other than working. Sharenda?
Well, I think last week I reported I went to go deer hunting in my saddle and nothing came in, so swapped out and switched over to geese hunting. Got a couple of geese. So the new freezer is no longer empty. And I had Women's Go Wild this weekend where we had 100 women show up at camp for a variety of activities, and Alpin popped in for a second. And he even joined, Tyler joined in a couple of classes. He had saddle. I had to be an instructor and do shotgun instructing and placement. And that was actually super fun for me because I do have my shotgun instructor certification. I got women get their first shots. They said they have never hit anything, and I looked at their stance, and I was like, "Oh, I can help you." And as soon as I adjusted them, they blasted their first clay. So now I have to haul a bunch of women to trap shooting next week or so because they said I owe them a play day. So I have like probably 25 new friends to go shooting with, and I have atlatls. I'm excited. I got
I saw that.
atlatls. And I had a little shoot off with Tyler, and I actually beat him in archery at 40 yards. So it was a fun and interesting weekend. I got a bunch of plans coming up to get women intro to long range shooting, where I want them to start practicing shooting at 400 yards and we build up further. So I got a lot of things I got in the works planning for 2025. So getting ready to get back out and start hunting again. I got to go scout for a new spot because I got some draws that I wanted, some private property I wanted to hunt on, and that's about it. And I'm not going to be reloading anything for a couple of weeks. I'm going to be out in the woods chasing furry things. Oh, and for other first for me, because I've trapped, I've dispatched with revolver when they're in the traps and not gone. I actually got to dispatch a bunny with my bare hands this week. So that was my new takeaway from Go Wild. So
Dispatch a bunny with your bare hands.
with my bare hands,
Okay.
I've not been able to do that with a class. It basically it's a V shaped unit, which I'm not doing that right. You can't see it. It's a V shaped unit that's drilled to a board. You have to put the rabbit's head in there and tug. Well, I wasn't worried about that. My butt was scared. Was what if I yank too hard and the head stays there, but the body flings back, and it wasn't that bad. And I'm going to eat it
Mm.
next week.
Usually when we
And
wound a
somebody
bunny
else took the
rabbit,
fur.
usually when I wounded a bunny rabbit in the old days, I would just step on its nose and that was the end of it.
Well, these weren't wounded. There's actually a gentleman in his family that do rabbit husbandry for
Okay.
4-H and compete. So him and his wife saves quite a few bunnies for us for educational purposes, just so women can be hands on. Because part of our organization is we try to get you closer and understanding on what you're doing. So I've explained and a few others, it's easy to take a life from a distance, but when you have to do it up close and be real personal, it makes you appreciate what you're doing more and not take it for granted. So,
Just like ringnecks, pheasant, you wound
mhm.
one, it's not, just flick its neck, right?
No, yes for pheasants, but geese I can never break their neck. So I have a tool that I just jab them. I have a
Oh,
finisher if somebody knows what that is, so I just jab them and keep going.
okay.
I think so for a minute there, I thought I was a little sociopathic for a second, but
No,
it's
you're
just
not. It's
me. I'm
part of
just
hunting.
it's yeah. I'm like they're cute that are dinner, and then after that they're just dinner.
They're, they're dinner. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Hassenpfeffer, on the hoofing. That's all.
yeah. And these rabbits, they're so meaty. Like these rabbits live better than we do.
Well, that's because
Yeah,
they're raised for that purpose.
Yeah, I had to explain to people they're competition bunnies. If you go over there and pet it, that's the one that you're gonna have to take care of. So that took care of that quick. I was like, don't silently name it. That's gonna be dinner. So that was it. I've been real busy. I'm going to be busy for the next few weeks.
so when are you rifle hunting?
That starts, which funny, it's actually sitting right here in front of me. Rifle season starts for antlerless. It actually started the 11th through the 13th, and then it starts again November 16th. So I missed my first window. Yeah. So, yeah, we've already started.
Okay. You've just been archery hunting, though.
Yeah, because I started early.
Yeah.
I ain't got
Okay.
nothing. I have to tell y'all how I missed a turkey on a offline or next week. It was funny. I got pictures. I didn't want the turkey anyway, but what I did was so hilarious. I had a Barbie moment.
Comedy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, and I bought a new gun.
Uh-oh.
What'd you buy?
I just got a Ruger 1022. Palmetto had a stupid sale during Prime days. So I got it so I can do Appleseed uh next year with my own gun, and I already got a squad of chicks coming, so that'll be fun.
Do
Have a
you
little
get
hands-in trip.
did we do we get to revise it for you?
Yes.
Put a new barrel on it, get a new stock,
Oh yeah, I want to
get
trick it
it.
out. Yeah.
Shoot it.
Yeah,
There's
Shoot
okay.
its
yeah.
own stock first.
Oh, I will, but it's getting tricked out. That's gonna be my Jeep Wrangler, my Rubik's Cube. So yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
Paul.
it's still on sale for $279 for the Woodstock.
Oh
Yeah.
no, this one was
Yeah, I know.
the
I'm
polymer
looking for
one.
that one.
It's not on sale anymore. That was just during Prime days.
Wow, my little freeloader, that was a pretty big sigh.
We get you a kid barrel for it, a kid trigger for it, and a KRG stock. They'll get you started
Paul, for
with a.
once, I am telling you to send me your links. To bet you
it,
thought you'd never hear that.
if we weren't on air, I'd show you the whole thing. So
I'm gonna hang on later if you want to go grab it on a break.
that's all right, you know. But definitely, got to trick it out. Uh,
What are you trying to
Chris,
talk her into doing?
she's gonna trick out her 1022 that she bought.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
have
but
New
with what?
new barrel, a kid barrel on it, a kid trigger, uh, KRG stock, and I think you can even get good colors in the KRG. Um, uh,
and don't forget I have a suppressor for it already.
oh,
Not
that's
not
even
that it's
better.
needed, but I do have a suppressor.
Yeah,
That will
Paul,
be
you're
your
gonna get your
downfall.
Strange moment with one of my firearms. It's gonna be your Strange.
oh,
Um, yeah, if somebody wants to buy me this, I'll be more than happy to let you. Hold on.
oh,
I'll answer that for your wife. No, no, Fat Mike. No, no, you are not responsible enough to have one of those, Mike. No.
Yes, I am.
there
So,
you go. There you go, Shrenda.
hey, you know what? That looks a lot like my kid's Archangel chassis, except for I bet you the Archangel chassis is a hell
Hmm.
of a lot cheaper.
That's sexy, but I wouldn't want it in red. They have OD green. I actually like that, Paul.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Why am I questioning the color? I got a whole damn Chris.
you got black. You got black, FDE, gray, and red.
I like that gray for sure. I would definitely want to throw something on there so it looks like a. You could tell it's a girl's gun. Maybe put a little purple on that.
Yeah,
I like that one. Who's that through Bravo chassis?
yeah. KRG.
KRG. I'm
Yep.
writing this down. KRG.
And
I like
there
that.
you go.
I gotta have this tricked out by April.
Okay.
Plenty of time. Paul, make sure you put that link in the show notes, or I
Sure.
mean, in the chat, so I can put it in the show notes.
Okay.
So, somebody's following us on Twitch, and they asked, I have a question for the group. You ordered a pizza to be delivered to your house. You have decided to play a big prank on the pizza delivery man. What will the prank be? And I said, lick their ear.
There you go. We'll get you that one too.
I would be inappropriate.
What's the twist rate, Paul?
These are again one in 14, I think, or 1 in 16.
Bah.
Yeah. You want a fast twist?
Doesn't do me any good because
Okay.
I can't shoot the
The heavy ones.
I can't shoot the bullets from cutting edge.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy a barrel. I want one that I can shoot those out of.
No, we're not talking about your gun. We're talking about mine.
If you're gonna buy a barrel, you're gonna buy one that you can shoot those out of, so you can load your own 22.
I'm never gonna load my
Oh,
own 22.
who am I fooling? You don't even load
Look,
your own 12 gauge.
I've loaded them 3 times now.
What? 3 whole hulls?
No, I did 3 boxes.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I did 3 boxes. I haven't. Yeah, I've been moving for like 2 years, Mike. Cut me some
2.5.
slack.
uh, yeah, we'll get those notes in there for you.
Please do, cause I really
Damn,
want to
Deal
check
Bro
this
is
out.
blowing up.
I'm gonna go get to this Dear Bro page. I'm feel like I'm gonna regret this.
Optional. Where are we at there? There we go. What's the optional twist rate for any 22 shooting a 40 grain bullet? Optimal. You're going to find 99.99 of the barrels are going to be 1 in 16. Now, you
Okay.
can go to Schillen and they will get you a ratchet twist barrel, and it will be just a little bit faster than that. I think it goes to 1 to
How do you
14.
spell that? How do you spell that? Shilling.
SHILEN.
Oh, just like it sounds.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. Let me go start activate that OnlyFans page. What's going now? Pinkies or feet still?
So, Paul, the 42 grains, 1 in 10
Yep.
twist, and the 50 grainers, 1 in 7 twist.
So you have to
So
have
the
a
one in the one in the one in or the 50 grainers, I'm not worried about. I can shoot those out of my AR
okay.
because that's a 1 in 7 twist already.
Okay. Except it's 224 and the bullets are going to be 223. So you got a slight difference there.
Just
And
because
they
they're
won't,
solid brass and won't expand. What's your point?
yeah, no, they won't arbitrate it, the barrel. They're
I
not
know.
going to see all the gas off.
Bing, bing, bing,
But
bing, bing, bing.
so you'd have to go to somebody like Bartland to turn a barrel for you.
Well, screw that then. Dirty rotten iotas.
Yeah. Well,
When you say things like that, I know we're gonna have to bring that back down a notch because that's out my pay grade range right now.
Right, you are, Chief.
yeah. Um, I don't even know if I've never talked to Bartland about making a barrel for a 1022.
Which is the one that's in Lodi? I don't remember.
Um, which one is it, Brooks or is it
Yeah, Brux.
Brooks? Yeah, yeah. You could talk. You might be able to talk him into making a fast twist 22 long rifle barrel. That would be interesting.
Hey,
I just wonder what chamber would be best for it.
can you put that in the notes for me too?
No.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm definitely curious.
Thank you, Ken. Raggle Fraggle. That's not hard anymore.
Right.
Winchester does it all the time.
Oh, and Raggle Fraggle, I have, but unfortunately, the way my financial life is set up, I have to start with the Ruger first and then work up to that. No, Paul, if I work up to that, I would not be working up to a Krieghoff or what's that other one you always try to tell me to buy?
Barazzi.
Barazzi, of course.
Yeah, that one and one more. The one I can never
Ludic.
pronounce correctly because no, the retainers won't let me pronounce it. Got starts with a G. Um,
Krieghoff.
Are you talking
shit,
Caesar
I need a
Greeny?
drink. No. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
It comes out Caesar Granny. I can't get my mouth shaped around saying that.
Only one drink?
Why did I say that?
I want a lot of drinks. But then this show goes to
I
shit,
would
so
like a
that's why
lot of
I'm
it. That
not.
would be for an interesting show.
Yeah, no, that's not a good idea.
Mm.
Yes, no, no, it's a bad idea. So, Paul, how about you? What you been up to? Now that Sharenda's talked for a half hour.
I'm home. Okay. So
I
that
know.
helps. That helps a lot. Just trying to get everything um, reset up here and uh, get my bearings and back and go through the mess that I got to clean up with the yard and that. So um, the other than that, um, next step is screwing on the 22 barrel for the 22 GT on the on in that Solus action and start loading for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna get that one up and running then. Gonna try running some of those 80 grain burgers in it to see how they're gonna go. So that should be interesting.
Hey, did you see Timney's making a drop-in assembly now for Rugers for triggers for the
Oh yeah,
1020?
yeah. They they make a nice adjustable, completely adjustable trigger for 1022,
Mm-hmm.
and you can. It's based upon their match trigger, but you can adjust the uh, placement of the trigger shoe, and yeah, it's a nice little trigger for the. If you search, you can get them for under 250.
Mm-hmm.
So um, yeah, they're good, really good trigger. I have a couple on my Remington 700s that I like. I'm playing with the new Bix and Andes now, and that ball bearing system in there is really nice, and it's cleanable without having to use chemicals in it.
Nice.
Yeah, so mm, but yeah, back here, and warmer than back in Chicago, and
Air's probably a little cleaner too.
Yeah, you got it.
What's your take on ER Shaw barrels?
E.R. Shaw is decent, but you got to get lucky on getting a real good one.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Other than that, they're pretty good.
Chris, what you been up to?
Finally got the 8.6 blackout brass in.
Mm-hmm.
For the last week, it's been surgery on the Achilles on the 7th, and it's been recovery. So went and had the stitches out today, and they said it's all looking good. And went from a cast to a walking boot, but still no weight bearing for the next 3 weeks, and then 2 very intensive months of therapy of 2 to 3 times a week. They said, and I should be good to go by SHOT Show.
Awesome.
That's good. That's good.
If not, Stacy's going, and she's got registered finally for SHOT today after what, like I was telling you, Mike, 6 invoices, the FFL signed by her because she's the co-owner of the business, the SOT, and basically a note from her mom, and they said, "Yep, you're in the business." Oh no, Paul, you don't understand. The FFL and the formation letter showing her as co-owner of the business for the LLC, they said it wasn't enough. So I had to send them 6 actual external invoices from different companies, like American Rifle Company, Black Hill Shooter Supply, a whole bunch of Lipsies, Davidsons. Yeah. But if I can't walk, well, I'm probably going to get something thrown across the living room at me on this one. She can push me around in one of those wheelchairs over there.
We'll get you one. We'll get you one of those motorized ones.
Oh yeah, one of those scooters.
I was gonna say,
No, we'll get you one of those ones on track.
Scooter.
They probably have some of those track chairs on display this year.
They will. They will. Get you one of them track ones. That way you can bring it home with you, go hunting in it if you can't be walking.
Well, we donated our elk tags this year to HD Outdoors. That took us both hunting there. I think Stacy went last year, and I went a few years before that. And they actually have a track chair. So, and when we're donating our tags to them, they're like, "You can use the track chair. We'll take you hunting." And I was like, "No, I'm good. Take another vet out hunting. That's never gotten elk before. Here you go."
Well, that's nice of them, though, that you donated your tags to them.
Yeah.
That's they do a lot of good.
Well, we're friends with the people that started that company, and I should say we became friends with them, and they actually just started to expand outside of Wyoming. They brought a vet in from, I want to say Keith was from Nebraska. He has stage 4 cancer. He's been beating it 2 years. Never had a big game hunt. He took a bull. They had a Vietnam vet that we know here in town that has never hunted big game. They took him out, and he got a bull this year. They've been doing really good stuff, and the nice thing about them is, unlike some of the other organizations that are out there, not a single person that runs that organization or helps out takes a salary. So every bit of money that is donated, it's all inclusive. They cover the hunt, the guide fees, if their guide charges anything. I haven't seen a guide that charges anything yet. They cover all the processing and then the taxidermy too. And if need be, hotel, airfare, you name it.
Oh, geez.
That's awesome.
You're talking,
that's great.
20 plus
When they
thou,
say
yeah.
all inclusive, it's all inclusive, and they don't take a bit of money that's donated to them as a salary or anything. It's all on their own, and nobody, like, we've helped out a few times, and yeah, we don't. Nobody expects anything. It's just like, yep, what can we do to help out?
Jeez, that's great.
Yeah.
That is great. I like those kind of people
Yeah, that's
because
awesome.
there's a lot of vets out there that deserve uh, deserve that, and
Oh, and it's an experience because John and Lindsay that run it, and Tom, one of the other guys that runs it, and guys that have been there. I tell you, I can hunt, but the experience I had, it was like I said, you built a new family coming out of that thing. It was like, wow, yeah, they became really good friends. So it's like, yep, what can I do for you?
yeah, yeah, really, really. Well, I'm really I'm sad that you can't go deer hunting elk hunting this year, but giving up your tags to them, wow, wow. Thank you. All right. What to do and not to do with the range while sighting in. Wow. Do we start with the do's or don'ts?
Either way,
Go with the don'ts.
You want to do the don'ts?
Yeah.
I'd rather start with the do's. Okay.
All right. Start with the
And
fun.
well, first thing is be courteous to the other people there. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Everybody is all rushing around and everything else. Just be courteous to everybody out there. You know, um, there's going to be lots of people out there that get to hunt, one weekend out of the whole year. They don't shoot a lot, or if at all, and as an experienced shooter, um, give them some help. We've seen them all the time. Sitting there going, uh, trying to sight their rifle in without a bags or anything like that because they don't have it. Lend them a bag. Bring an extra one with you. You know, um, be the gentleman and the gentle lady out there to bring our bring our sport up. That's number one. What else, Sharenda? Do.
If it's a lady and you're unsure and you
Let
see
her pinch off
something
your
you need to
stash.
correct, yeah, well, let her pinch off your stash, but just ask permission if it's okay to touch her or to give her some advice. That seems to be a growing thing. So, also, if
I think that's a
you
growing thing with everyone, not necessarily just ladies anymore.
True, that is true. And then if you're usually at the ranges that I go to, if there's usually just me and one or two other ladies there and they look like they need some help, they'll ask me, "Do you mind going to go talk to them?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I'm thinking to myself, Can you at least give me a cup of coffee for doing your job?"
Well, the range officer can't do that because they have to
Mm,
watch everybody. You know, it's us that have to be able to show people. And
mm.
even if it cuts into our time, you know, we should do it. You should help other people. I mean,
I don't mind other
and
people. I'm just gonna always try to milk coffee out of the situation if I can.
okay.
Hey, those guys be serving up Black Rifle in their break room.
Yeah, well, that's what they should be serving, you know, or blackout, either one.
Blackout over blackout over
Black
black
rifle.
rifle.
Yeah. Yep.
Blackout makes my favorite flavor, which is Highlander Grog.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Oh, good. So
Oh, and also don't I wish we would get out of the habit of telling people what they don't need. You don't need that. You don't need that. I mean, that may be true, but I mean, we're all kids with new toys. Let them play with their things and discover if they don't like them or wasted money on it. Um, just don't immediately be that guy that is, oh, you didn't need that. That's you don't need that. Just let
we
them
haven't
play with.
gotten to the don'ts yet.
Oh, we haven't.
No,
Oh,
No,
sorry.
we're
still
on the
haven't
Well,
yet.
do's.
well,
So save that.
do shut your mouth. How about that?
Do explain to the person next to you if you notice unsafe behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mhm.
you know, do explain to them the basic rules of shooting. Like keep your booger pickers off the trigger until you're ready to pull the trigger. Keep the gun pointed downrange, that kind of just little things like that. You know, step away from the gun when you're uh, when there's a call for the to so people can go down and put targets up. Chamber flags. Put a chamber flag in your gun. You know, if you're there, buy it. Have a couple extras. That way you can stick them in other people's guns, so the range officer can walk down and see that there's a flag in the gun, and everybody's happy.
So here's the best thing you can use as a chamber flag, and it doesn't matter the gun. Weed whipper line.
Okay. Okay.
So, um, that is absolutely the best because what you can do. We used it for 4-H. It'll fit in a 177 pellet barrel. It'll fit in a 22. It'll fit in everything else. The nice thing is you can have one length for pistols, one length for rifles, and you can literally either down the muzzle and out the action or through the action out the muzzle, and everybody can clearly see that that line is sticking out both ends. So Raggle Fraggle says that's what we used in JR OTC too. So
Okay. So
yeah, just buy the cheap
Weed
stuff.
Whipper. Yep.
So
Good idea. I like that.
mhm.
I like that. I've seen people use zip ties.
Yep.
Um, Zip ties are kind of nice because you can make a loop and put a flag on there, saying that says can say
Yeah.
something empty or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's
What you can do also, if you want to have a flag of some sort, take masking tape and wrap it around the weed lip line and stick it to itself and write something on the masking tape. Now you got a flag.
yeah.
So, but yeah, Clifford said orange zip ties work. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because they stand out, but they're expensive. That's the nice thing about the string trimmer line is it's pretty cheap. In fact,
What, $10 for 100 feet, or something like that with color. I mean, you get green or red or whatever color you want for $10.
so here is just slapped in an Amazonian quick. Um, 328 feet for $19.
Yeah.
It's orange.
Yeah, 390. You can do an awful lot of rifles for that.
Yeah, I mean,
You know. Yeah.
you donate it to your. Oh, and right now there's a 10% off coupon too. So
There you
buy
go.
that, donate it to your club.
Yeah,
So I
that's
mean,
a good
here's
idea.
150 feet of green for $8.
Yep.
High vis green.
So yeah,
Walmart's got it. Home Depot's got it.
yeah. But it's a great idea. I mean, string trimmer line is all over the place. I mean,
Mhm.
and as long as a big enough hunk is outside the chamber, you're good.
And if
So
you've got if you've got a bunch at home and you don't want to do any trimming, you can just use that and then tell your wife or your husband, and whatever the case may be, that you're out of weed whipper line and you gotta get some more.
yeah, you got
Can't
yeah.
weed whip today.
So I can't weed whip today, so I'm going to the range.
Yep. Exactly. So.
All right. What else? What else is good to do? Come
Bring
on,
all your
guys.
right shooting gear, eye and ear
Ooh,
protection,
there
cleaning,
you go.
cleaning stuff. Bring a cleaning rod just in case you get something stuck in your chamber. I
That's
know.
great. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I know
That is.
myself. I've got the fix-it stick toolkit that I bring with me in case something comes loose. Because let's be honest, some stuff, even you torque it down, there's a possibility it can come loose. And
Mhm.
some, like if you get a factory rifle, I know not to pick on a name brand, but like Savage, they were known inherently for like their scope rails coming loose after shooting because it was just part of the manufacturing process for the longest time of throw that scope rail on, no blue Loctite or anything like that. It's just whoop, and after a few, it get a little bit loose, even though it was torqued down.
Yep.
Well,
Um,
see, that's the shooter's fault though, because you
yeah,
assumed that it was good to go. So
but
I don't assume any rifle is good to go because first off,
Well,
even if it's mounted from the factory, bore sighting is a joke.
mhm.
yeah.
um,
But what he's trying to say is what to do,
yeah,
Right.
and
yeah. This is
that's
just stuff you can throw in your range bag.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and
I mean, you're
that's
you're probably not going to need it if you do your due diligence on the front end, but it's nice to have in case. Well, even if you don't have that issue, maybe the guy or girl on the right or left is like you're looking over and you see them struggling. It's like, hey,
yeah,
let's check this torque real quick.
yep,
Do
or
bring a squib rod.
Yep.
yep.
Um, pen, paper, notepad.
Oh,
Uh,
flashlight.
yep. Flashlight, rangefinder, because you are taking the range at their word that it is a 100, 200.
That
Let's
for
be
sure.
honest. Depends on the range. Some of them are pretty good. Other, like
Our
Billy Bob
range,
might have just
our,
pasted
our
off.
range that I belong to, the 200 yard is actually 183.
Wow.
But if you
Well,
ask, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So
Um,
but
bring a shooting bag or tripod, depending on what you like to shoot off of. You might as well get used
bipods,
to it.
tripod, shooting rest, whatever,
Hmm.
rear shooting bag, all
Yeah.
that fun stuff.
Um,
Um,
here's something that a lot of people probably don't even think of. Bring a first aid trauma kit
Mm.
yeah,
because you are going to a range. And let's be honest, we've all been to ranges and we have seen new and experienced shooters that are not the safest people in the world. And like you said earlier, Mike, the ROs, they're trying to watch, depending on the range, they could be watching 50 people. and they could be looking to the right, and you got somebody over here that flags somebody, and God forbid if they pop a round off.
Do not assume the range has something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you might be
really.
the first one that can pull out that tourniquet and slap it on somebody before they bleed out.
Or a chest seal.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very important. And one of the don'ts out there is don't flag people.
Mhm.
Don't walk around with uh, a closed chamber on a gun. You know, open the bolt, put in a chamber flag if you're going to walk around anywhere. To put a gun away or something like that. And I would prefer if you were going to do that, you on the bench, you put the gun away. Don't, leave it pointing downrange, open the bag or case up, put the rifle in it or the handgun and close it up and walk away that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know how many times I've seen people close bolt, lift the gun up, go walk it over and go put it in a rifle rack that the range has on the side or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Did anybody mention extra batteries for your devices you're hearing,
Mm.
or if you're running scopes or anything that uses the watch batteries,
Yeah,
always keep an extra set of
that's a good
those.
call. Extra batteries for everything,
Yep.
because
And
that'll
if
be
you use
about the time you don't bring it. That'll be the time that rangefinder you're hearing or whatever goes out.
And if you're running things that run off USB, always make a note to try to charge them the night before if you ain't used them in a while.
or have one of those rechargeable battery packs to take with you.
Yep.
Well, like Rago Frago just said, spotting scope, or if you don't have that, binos.
hmm Something else I like to add in mine, especially if I'm shooting outdoors when it's warm, um, that gel that you squeeze on your hands to dry the sweat off. That's a neat thing to
Okay.
keep in your bag.
Well, and depending on the time of year, sunblock if you're shooting outdoors.
Yep. And thermocell doesn't help if you got enough space. I mean, it does help if you got enough space in your bag. That way you don't have chemicals on your hand and
Yep.
on your gun, but you keep those skeeters away.
Because I've been to some ranges, they don't have overhead cover. A lot of them nowadays do, so
hmm
you're not sitting there baking in the sun, but some don't.
hmm hmm I like those to leave in my pack because they can ball up and stuff in the pocket. But those bucket hats that have the piece that's longer in the back that covers your neck, dry
Um,
wicking, those are good.
JT brought
uh,
up a good point. Water.
Water. I put food and water. So
Yeah.
yeah,
this is our do list so far.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Be courteous. Ask permission to assist.
hmm
Do say something nicely if you see unsafe behavior. Do have a first aid or trauma kit. Bug repellent or sunscreen. Food and water. Do use chamber flags. And I put string trimmer line. Do bring tools and proper equipment. Do bring a squib rod. Do bring a cleaning kit. Do bring a flashlight. Do bring a shooting rest of some sort. Do have extra batteries for your devices and have a backup charger.
mhm.
Bring the proper ammo for the rifle or whatever
Mhm.
you're shooting. Because I've actually seen people show up with this rifle. Oh, I
Done it.
grabbed the wrong ammo. I've done it. I've seen other people do
Mhm.
it. And it's like, I just made the trip to the range and realized I grabbed the wrong box of ammo.
Hey, Mike, you should flash Fraggle Fraggle's comment. Well, Raggle Fraggle, it kind of depends on what you're doing. Some situations you could be out at the range all day shooting multiple guns, so you would bring your duffel bag on wheels.
um, I have found that MTM sells ammo crates, and they have different heights and that. And they are really nice to organize your range uh, equipment and your ammo that you're going to take with you. And they're not real expensive. I mean, about $20 a piece or something like that.
Well, I've seen
Um,
guys at the range, Paul, that you've probably seen them in like Costco or Sam's, those collapsible little wagons. I've
hmm
seen guys show up at the range, they unfold that, drop all
Yeah.
their ammo, their range bags, and then they
Same.
just
Yep.
slap their rifles on top and they wheel that thing out and they got
You should
those
have
big
seen
rubber tires and it's like,
should have
that's
seen the look
brilliant.
on Ken's face when I brought mine out the first time.
hmm
So,
No, I call mine the swagger wagon.
well, it beats making 3 trips.
Yep.
It
So,
does.
Clifford
Mhm.
Zach said for iron sight shooters, a can of sight black.
Ah,
Eh,
yes. Or if
I've
you
never
don't
heard
have
of that.
sight,
I'm googling now.
if you don't have sight black, a Bic lighter works.
See, I'm torn because that's something that should be done beforehand.
Well,
The
a
big
Bic
lighter
lighter
is the
kind
old school trick
of,
that I know
yeah.
you did in the army. Hey, it works in a pinch.
Uh-huh. It does. Um, it's whatever works. So yeah, it takes the glare off of the front sight, and if you're shooting a peep sight, it makes the peep sight really black, and it kind of
Yeah.
disappears then. But yeah, Bic lighter, sight black, any of that kind of stuff. Now, I don't recommend using sight black on a gold bead if you're using a gold bead, but standard post on an AR-15, yeah, dynamite. Um, yeah, the guys with the carts, you get, learn to, like I say, those ammo crates fit in those carts really nice. So you can put two of those in the cart, and you got all your stuff. The only thing that doesn't fit is the rifles and the cleaning kits in them, and the cleaning rods. And if you're picking out a good rod to take cleaning rod, think a Dewey with with a male tip on the end of it, because the female tip will bend around a bullet and cause problems. Um, so just a thought there, guys.
Yeah, they kind of go and then
Yep,
wedge into then they like to wedge into the barrel.
yep.
Oh,
What is?
Shrenda.
Yeah.
Shrenda, I wanted to show you this earlier.
Oh, Promax site.
Uh-huh. So this is the affordable version of the one that Paul showed you. The boys have this one, and not in this color. They have it in red and blue. Um, but it has adjustable cheek, adjustable length of pull, and fits in real nice. So,
Is that
and
got
it
a metal? Is that a metal chassis inside of it?
I don't remember. Um, I know I can shoot really well at 100 yards with it. So, but it didn't screw up the accuracy of the one that was really accurate. So I don't remember.
Ah, what is sight black? Mm, there we go. Okay. What is sight black?
Yeah, Shrenda's got something going on in the background.
Yeah. What is sight black? Sight black is carbon. That's all it is. It's black carbon, and it's usually in a liquid, so you can apply it um, with a brush. But like I say, most people just use a Bic lighter, and it works. Um, okay, guys. One thing I think we have forgotten is either masking tape or a staple gun and staples
as well as targets.
and targets.
I
Now
take a bingo dauber too.
you may go to the range and buy targets at the range. You may do that, but having a staple gun or tape to put the targets up is is really smart. And if you bring your own backers, a lot of them will have cardboard as a backer or something like that. Um, you can, if you know what size they are at the range, you can bring your own backers and use 3M mounting spray and spray your targets onto the adhesive onto your backer and shoot through that, and you'll get better holes than you will just shooting through the cardboard that has holes already in it. Um, the political season is now, so you can go start raiding Kamala Harris and what's his name, Tim Putz or
Walls.
oh yeah, Fudd, Tim Fudd. I watched him trying to load a 12 gauge Beretta the other day. That was interesting. That was interesting.
Thanks for reminding me. I keep forgetting to Google and go look at that.
Um,
You just shake your head, Shrinda.
yeah.
And at the same time, when he's trying to load, you'll hope he gets one in the chamber and it goes off at the same time. Because where he has that buttstock sitting.
Oh, but yeah, it's yeah, targets. You know, if you're going to the shotgun range, uh, again, shells, all the proper gear, everything else. Um,
I would say if you're gonna reuse your target, get some type of little pasty to put
mhm.
over the holes you put in.
Pistol shooters, especially if they're
Yep.
using cardboard targets, yes.
Masking tape, duct tape.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And, but
That's what sight black looks like. Also comes with a little marker pen too, but it's from Birchwood Casey. So to answer Harold's question. So spray paint for your steel targets if you're fancy enough to have belong to a range that lets you shoot steel.
mhm.
So the thing I recommend for a lot of this stuff is, first off, most people, there's one vehicle you take to the range. It's usually not your spouse's. So a lot of this stuff you can save yourself a headache and just keep in your damn vehicle. Come on, people. The second thing is you have a range bag, which mine's right here. Ugh. Empty box, ammo. We got a lot of ammo in here. Wow. So you know it's a bad trip to the range when the ammo boxes aren't empty. The hell. Staples. Check Walmart's clearance section, kids. These are current Staples. Walmart was blowing them out for $2. I always buy a bunch of these shoot and sees, and then what I do is when I put the targets up, I save them. Here's your dots, Chris. By the way, your nose is creepy. So, more Staples. These targets are fun too because, you know, sometimes you need something to stick the targets onto. So the nice thing about this is it's got two side pouches. So one is usually targets, the other one is cleaning stuff. Boar snake.
Oh,
Duck. Duct tape. Lube. Tools. Otis cleaning kit. Where the hell did my kid put my... I wonder. So, and then Sharpie. Unfortunately, it feels like my kid purloined my monocular that I usually keep in there. Oh, it's in there. So I have another bag that I usually put most of my ammo in. And that's where my staple gun wound up. So
this is what I use to carry for ammo. It's a ammo crate by MTM, and they're nice, they're solid, and they're easy enough to carry, and they fit in those carts. So and they will carry more than 50 pounds worth of stuff.
I usually just have one of the larger, you can kind of see it right here, right there on the other side of my wood board. But it's one of those plastic, like it's almost like the 30 millimeter size ammo cans, the plastic
Okay.
ones that Cabela's Bass Pro sells. I usually have one of those, and I'll just pile everything for the range in there. That way I can make sure I bring ammo for everything. Because I check, yeah, exactly. That's what my target bag's for. So, or a 5-gallon bucket. So, anyway. Okay, so that's all the other stuff. Now, so don't flag. Don't walk around with a closed chamber. And then
Don't piss off the range officer. Get kicked off the range.
don't piss anyone off. Don't make anyone mad / irritated. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a brass goblin.
But clean up your brass when you're done. If you don't, even if you don't save it, but we're all reloaders, so we'd save everything. But
Police your own. This goes in the
AO,
do column.
yes.
Police
Your
your own
AO.
brass. Don't be a brass goblin. If you want the brass, ask.
And make sure you throw away your targets in the trash cans if you're not keeping them.
Yep. Don't leave your targets up.
Yeah. You know.
Don't conduct yourself that you're constantly interrupting the shooting line to go down range.
That works. STL Ammo Man. Yes, that works. There are also a couple of companies that make lightweight ones that are not heavy canvas that you can put down too.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for a good sale at Harbor Freight. You might get a free tarp.
Yeah.
There you go. Clifford Zach, gun oil. Gun oil. Did we say gun oil? No.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
pulled out the bag or the bottle of
Okay.
Royal Purple.
All
So
right.
that kind of is tools, proper equipment, cleaning kit. So, I mean, literally, if I was going to take, on the dues, like if I was going to break down tools, I could literally break down tools into 100 different lines, and proper equipment. I could list a whole, I could literally make the notes on all of that like 4 pages. I'm not doing that. So, for 2 reasons: one, it's excessive, and 2, you'll get nitpickers. I love my podcast listeners, but let's face it, there's some people out there that are minors, and so they would, well, that doesn't apply to me. Why is this on here? Why is this on here? So,
Well,
but anyway, so running with scissors, don't shoot your neighbor's target.
Unless it's for qualification and you need to get off the range, then help your neighbor out. Not that they did that in the military, but hey, just saying. May have happened a few times.
yeah.
Shh.
Uh,
I put in parentheses, unless necessary. So, don't play music on a speaker.
Or in your electronic hearing protection, because you may miss range control trying to tell you something like a ceasefire because somebody needs to go down range.
maybe, we should just say, listen to the ROs. Okay? They're there for a reason.
Thank God that I go to ranges that don't have ROs. I don't have to deal with that. And there's a reason I don't go to ranges that have ROs. Because the range that I used to go to that did have ROs are annoying.
I think a lot of it depends on the RO if they're a FUD or not, because some
Yeah.
ROs are old school and they're used to that bolt action. If you bring a semi-auto AR and you're just control rate of fire, they're going to be like, "Oh, you got a fully automatic," and it's like, no, it's not.
I had one that did that. This was my Ruger 1022. And so I handed him the empty rifle with an ECI. For those of you who don't know what ECI is, that's empty chamber indicator, as we were talking about earlier, chamber flag, and a 25 round magazine. And I said, all right, you're the smart guy. Show me how this fires full auto. And he looked back at me and he said, I'm going to throw you off the range. And I said, I'm going to have you removed as an RSO because you're incompetent. Guess who won that battle? Not him.
Can I add, when in doubt, if you're visiting a range and you've never been to one before, it doesn't hurt to either pick up the phone and ask them how they want you to bring your guns in. Some don't care if they're case, some do. Or go in there and take care of checking in and then ask them, all right, I didn't bring any of my guns in. I was just checking to see how you guys prefer them carried in. That
Yeah, always check
never
in
has to
first,
ask. Yeah.
especially indoor ranges.
Yeah. Indoor ranges are definitely a different animal than your outdoor.
Yeah.
Because the one indoor range here, I noticed the few times I've been there, the check-in process is totally different than going to the normal ranges. They have a different, the way they want you to bring the rifles in or your pistols is totally different.
Yeah.
I have to laugh at one gentleman at an indoor range took his pistol with them to go up to the counter to buy more ammo. Okay, in his hand, finger on the trigger, the whole 9 yards. They threw him out.
How did he get off the range?
There wasn't an RSO on the range. It was an indoor range, and he just walked right out the door and in and to buy more
I can
ammo.
understand an outdoor range not having an RSO. Okay, totally understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot fathom an indoor range, with the exception of a private club membership. Um, that wouldn't have an RSO. I just, if it's attached to any sort of establishment, retail establishment, how can you not have an RSO? That's just befuddling.
Well,
But okay. But at
yeah,
least they acted appropriately.
yeah,
And praise God, nobody got hurt. So yeah, I mean, Stoughton Conservation Club that I used to belong to, they have an indoor range, but there's no RSOs, because they do a training program, and then obviously they have cameras and stuff, but they also sign in and sign out log and all that fun stuff. So,
but they have a training program for the people to sit down and either watch a movie or they explain to them what the rules are. And this place did not have anything like that. And okay, no, no. Last time I was there, wouldn't go back.
no, so
Don't rush yourself.
yeah,
Give yourself enough time at the range.
Yes.
Because if you're going to rush, you're not going to accomplish what you're going to want to do at the range.
Yep.
so that goes along with proper planning. Make sure you plan enough time. So STL Ammo Man said I'm an RSO. One present normally limits the douchebaggery behavior. True. So we have 2 indoor ranges locally that do not have anyone on the range while you're shooting. Is that Max Creek? Is one of them. The last time I was at Deerfield, they did have an indoor, or they did have an RSO. So maybe they don't anymore. I don't know. But I don't know. The only places I don't go to indoor ranges anymore. So I like to keep my lead levels down, and I don't care how good the indoor ranges are. Oh, he said Deerfield is never. Oh, that's funny. I don't know. I haven't been to Deerfield in 4 years, but every time I was at Deerfield, they had an indoor, or they had one. So okay, they may not anymore, but that was pre-COVID. Maybe that changed with COVID. I mean, everything changed with COVID, so why not? But so don't flag anyone. Don't walk around with a closed chamber. Don't make anyone mad or irritated. Don't be a brass goblin. If you want brass, ask. Don't leave your targets up. Don't conduct yourself so you're interrupting the shooting line to go downrange. Don't shoot your neighbor's target unless necessary. Don't play music on a speaker or in your hearing protection. Don't rush. Take your time and do what you need to do.
Practice gun safety.
Simply just don't be that guy.
Exactly.
Do practice firearm safety.
Yep.
Bring hand warmers. I think that would qualify under proper equipment. So, is he even here to pick on?
Yes.
I'm going to put that in the show notes. I put that in the show notes. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Steps to sight in your optic.
Whoa.
What?
Steps to sight in an optic.
You
On
want
a
the
rifle?
down and dirty way to do a rifle? Pull your bolt, look down your barrel onto your target, look up at your scope, adjust. That will at least get you on in the ballpark. You don't need any of that fancy laser stuff. And then start shooting.
What if it's a side eject lever gun?
Oh, yeah, okay. You got me on that one.
Or a pistol? Or revolver?
Well, if you're shooting pistol or revolver, have it.
Or a semi-auto?
Semi-auto? I've done the same thing on my semi-autos. My ARs, I'll shotgun it.
22.
Start close. Yeah. If you're gonna do is
start real close. Start at 25 yards.
Yeah,
correct.
You know.
But have a good, steady or solid rest to shoot off of, especially with pistol
and rifle.
Well, yeah, but I mean more so with pistol than I mean, at least with a rifle, if you're shooting off a decent bipod or something like that. But pistol, I mean, if you're just sitting there trying to do that, you're gonna.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
So you're sighting in your rifle. You have it on paper at 100 yards. You fired one round, and it has gone high right. What do you do?
Scream, run around.
Buy a new gun.
Okay.
That's always the answer because you need another gun. Fuck, this one doesn't shoot.
So,
sorry, Chris, you'll have to bleep that.
Yeah.
See, sometimes I forget we're on the podcast. I think we're just sitting around bullcrapping. So.
Yeah, so we sit down, we have the gun on a rest. It's all lined up. We line it up where we aimed. We take the caps off the scope, and then we adjust the scope till it goes to where the bullet hole is. Okay, without moving the rifle. The rifle was still, lock solid in the rest. And then we move it to where the bullet hole is. We load another round, we shoot, and then
So there's a problem with your theory.
Okay.
Are you adjusting your scope?
Yes.
How are you guaranteeing that the rifle isn't moving when you're adjusting the scope? And how are you guaranteeing that you are getting exactly back in the same position that you were in the first place?
Well, all I want to do is hold where I held the crosshairs on the target.
So you're just trying to get close.
Well, yeah,
you're not
I'm
trying
get
to
real close. Yeah.
Okay, you're not trying to do the one-shot sight in.
There is no such thing as a one-shot sight in. 3 shots, yes.
There is a one-shot sight in on thermals, in theory.
Yeah.
The way thermal scopes are designed, there is.
Well, theoretically, if your load is good enough, you can do a one-shot sight in. So basically, what Paul's talking about is you move the crosshair to where the bullet impacted without moving the rifle. The whole entire premise of the one-shot sight in is you actually have somebody else come over while you keep everything the exact way it was when you pulled the trigger. And somebody else comes over and moves the crosshairs, and you then fire a second shot to confirm. And theoretically, if it's all done correctly, your second shot should go exactly where the first shot was. So
you're also hoping that that person's not going to push any pressure.
Well, that's your job as job as the rifle holder. Because if they start to get a little handsy, you just and watch them curl up in fetal position. I told you be gentle. Anyway, so as Paul was saying before my brief interlude, so you move the crosshairs.
I adjust the crosshairs over. I don't move them. The crosshairs start on the target where I was aiming the original aiming point, and then I will move the crosshairs to the left and up till I center on the bullet hole.
So you're not adjusting the crosshairs at this time. You're just actually readjusting your point of aim.
Right. That's moving the crosshairs to the point of aim. Yes.
So you're not actually adjusting elevation and windage.
Oh yeah, I am. Yes.
Okay, so you're adjusting. You're not moving.
I'm not moving the rifle. The rifle stays in one spot, and then.
Yeah. See, I wanted to clarify that because a lot of people, when they talk about moving, they're talking about picking the rifle up and actually moving your crosshairs that way, not versus adjusting.
I'm making the click adjustments, over to where I'm going.
Yeah, that's what I knew you were talking about, but I wanted to just clarify.
So I will move, and I will look at at where the bullet struck and where it is, and say it's I'm sighting in at 100 yards, and I'm looking at my crosshairs and saying that's 3 inches. So I'm going to give it going to give it 12 clicks up and whatever I have to go over, and by doing that and looking through the scope, I can be a little more precise.
Hmm.
And if you have a hunting scope that uses a screwdriver or a coin, yeah, get somebody to help you because it's a lot harder. If you have a new style adjustable turrets on your scope, you're in better shape.
So you fire your first shot, then you do your clicks to move the crosshairs
Yep,
to
to the bullet hole.
where the bullet hole is. Are you firing one shot or then three?
I'm gonna fire one more shot to find out, where it lands, and if I have to adjust again, I'll do the same thing. Not all rifle scopes are going to move correctly.
Correct.
So I'm going to fire one shot to see what the difference is and then move over and hopefully I have a accurate load and I'm not chasing something because if I notice that I moved it over and it's still not where I pull the trigger at, um, then I'm going to fire a 3-shot group to see if I'm centered at least on that bullet hole. Maybe an inch, inch and a half this way, inch and a half, or inch that way, or whatever. But it's a hunting load, so um, hopefully I'm within uh, an inch with 3-shot group. With a question, then the question is, what is an acceptable accuracy with a hunting load?
What do I personally think is accurate?
Yeah, what is
My personal
acceptable?
opinion on accuracy for hunting loads should be comparable to target loads because of the fact that if you're an ethical hunter, the entire idea is to make a clean, ethical kill. And if you did not do due diligence in your loads and your loads are not accurate, then when you take your shot, you're not guaranteeing that you can hit where you're aiming and therefore not working to be the most ethical hunter you can be.
So with a target load, not a hunting bullet, but a target bullet, my gun shoots a 1/4 inch.
Yep.
Okay. Now I switch to a hunting bullet
Hmm.
because they're not made as well. Now the gun shoots an inch and a 1/4. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Okay.
I would prefer sub MOA, but
Okay. And if I'm shooting the a iron sighted 30-30, what is acceptable? Is it the pie plate, or the paper plate? You know, uh,
so
Eight.
are we using factory ammo?
No, I'm saying we're using hand loads.
No,
I'm reloading. That's not acceptable.
no, absolutely not.
Okay, so with iron
Get better,
sights, I'm sitting there
get better,
going, get better. So I have to
get better.
practice more in order
Mhm.
to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And if you can't, then figure out a way to put an optic on that rifle or don't use it.
okay, all right,
That's my opinion. You do you, but
okay.
that's my opinion.
Chris?
I agree with Mike. And here, Nate, I know this is what's going to get a lot of people is, I've got the old 94 that was my dad's from when he was like 12. I
Mm-hmm.
will never, ever put an optic on that rifle.
Nope.
And I know the older I get, the eyesight is
Mm-hmm.
not getting any better.
Mhm.
Tell me.
Therefore, that rifle will become more of 100 yard because I can still probably shoot until I can't shoot 100 yards. So it'll be a deer rifle at 100 yards. But if I need to shoot something further out, that's where I'm digging the other rifles out that have those nice scopes on there. Like Mike's saying, put an optic on there so you can actually see.
Okay.
I with my hunting loads, I the same thing. I'm trying to get the same consistency, and I want to shoot like I shoot my target loads. If I could
Mm-hmm.
bug hole that crap, that would be the ideal situation.
Sure.
But depending
Sure.
on the bullet, every manufacturer is not the same. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Hornady is not the same as a Cutting Edge,
Mm-hmm.
and same as Sierra is not the same as Burger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if you're not using quality components, you got to have realistic expectations of what you're going to have expect. If you're expecting to buck hole and you're using, some Joe Snuffy's cast bullet that you don't know of, and I'm using a cutting edge Maximus hunting bullet, I'm probably gonna, even if the rifles are identical, I'm probably gonna get a little bit better accuracy if we're
Mm-hmm.
comparing apples to apples, other than the bullet, just because
Okay.
I'm using a little bit better component.
If
Okay.
somebody wants to absolutely ask a quantifiable measurement to shoot for a hunting load, minute of angle. 1
Okay.
minute of angle.
Okay.
Now,
So
do
we
I
have.
expect? I get one qualifier on that. Now, do I expect? And this includes myself. Do I expect you to be turning necks, separating bullets, measuring by ogive to heal? Do I expect you to be measuring case capacity and sorting that way? Uniforming
Mm-hmm.
primer pockets, deburring flash holes and everything for hunting loads? No.
Okay.
If you need to get to that 1 MOA because you chose crappy brass, so be it.
Okay.
But kind of like you guys were saying too, is you have to, if you look at your average hunter, they might shoot what, a box a year?
No,
Yeah.
not
Not even that.
Not even that.
5
And,
rounds.
No.
and if they're expecting to bug hole at say 200 yards on a deer, antelope, elk, whatever, and you're shooting, they've zeroed last year and they're going out to confirm zero. They fire that 1-2 shots. Oh, yep, it's zeroed. Okay. Compared to say somebody like Paul, who's going out and shooting 5,000-6,000 rounds, or maybe even 10,000 rounds a year, Paul will probably bug hole. But Mike that shot 3 rounds this year, you are not going to have that same accuracy that Paul has.
Nope.
Now we have Clifford Zach here says a dumb question.
No
You
such thing.
guys make it sound like your rifle doesn't or move at
I'm
all
thinking that's
after
what
you
it's supposed to
fire.
be.
Yeah, it doesn't move after you fire the shot. Well, the thing is that when you pull the trigger, the gun goes off, the bullet is gone before the rifle starts to really move. It's exited the muzzle. Um, let's call it. Let's be real ungenerous and say 2,500 feet per second. So the millisecond that the barrel is in that bore, it hasn't moved. The gun really hasn't moved unless you're waving it around in the air like offhand. We're talking about sighting in. So um,
I think his question is more, how do you keep it from shifting when you pull the trigger? Like my lead sled, yeah, no, that doesn't happen. Because the Caldwell and their infinite cheapness put a horribly cheap piece of garbage on the front as a sorry attempt for a bag, and there's no way in God's green earth to get repeatability out of that. When you pull the
so
trigger, it shakes that all over the place, shifts the sand all over the place, and the rifle is nowhere near where it was when you pull the trigger. And I think that's what he's trying to ask is how are you accomplishing that? Is that what you're saying is when you pull the trigger, your rifle's not moving? Is that what you're saying? For you're moving your crosshairs. So
when you're adjusting the scope,
yeah,
yeah. So um, I
that's the
put my
challenge.
I put mine in a uh, 3-point rest on the front that has a bag that fits the front forearm of the gun, and then I put it in the buttstock in a bag that at the rear that probably weighs 13, 14 pounds, and the front rest probably weighs another 17 or 18. So the gun sits steady in that. It's tough to move it. When you're looking at as a hunting setup, uh, an 8 to 10 pound rifle. It pretty much sits in those bags well, and I use the weight of the bags and the adjustment in the rest to adjust my point of aim. And I'm not really touching the bags when I'm pulling the trigger. A lot of people will sit down and try to squeeze the bag and everything else to get it to where they want it and hold it there with the bag. But I'm using a bunny ear bag, and I don't have mine right here right now, but and uh, you know a bench rest style rest to hold everything steady. So it will hold the scope exactly where I was aiming at, the whole gun right where I was aiming at, and I can get up from it. I can just walk up to the top of it and make my adjustments. It pays you know to buy a good front end rest, fore end rest, and a good bag for it that'll fit your rifles, and a good rear bag that you know will again hold the butt of the rifle where you want it. Um, Even if you go out and buy a Caldwell rest and the cheap bag they throw in on it, throw that bag away and go buy a good one
Excuse me.
from one of the other manufacturers. There's a whole bunch of manufacturers out there that make uh, leather bags, and the same thing with a rear bag. Buy a good rear bag. They're not cheap. I'm going to tell you they're not. You're going to spend $100 and
Ooh, I like that one.
$150 for a good rear bag. That's just a good one. The great ones are, up in the $200 to $300, and you can spend on a front rest. You can spend $2,000 without a problem.
Creedmoor Sports has quite a few options to replace that front bag on the
Right.
Caldwell lead sled. But Caldwell also makes a different front one that's got a deeper. So, but
You got
I would recommend. I'm going to be going to Creedmoor. So, yeah, the Creedmoor Sports offers quite a few different options to replace that front bag. So, that's the only issue I have with the lead sled. Is that bag on the front just absolute garbage. So, all right. So, fire one shot, adjust the crosshairs to the impact without moving rifle. Fire one shot, make any more adjustments. Fire one shot or 3 shots?
one.
So one shot adjust, one shot adjust if necessary, and then one shot.
If I get it to where I think where it needs to be, if I'm, not trying to shoot 1 inch over at 100,
Right.
if I'm right where I want to be, I will fire 5 to confirm. That's my personal thing. Some people will fire 3. I like to fire 5 to confirm that I am zeroed.
Okay. These are decent front bags. Edgewood,
Yeah.
um,
Creedmoor's got the Edgewoods.
Protector.
Yeah, and the protectors. I was looking at the Owl. I was also looking at one of the Edgewoods. So
yeah, the Edgewood Edge are good front bags that are adjustable with the stuff. So
yeah,
you
and
can.
that's if you want to keep your lead sled. The only reason I use the lead sled, I already have a flinch, and when I'm doing load development or I'm doing sight ins, I don't need more of a flinch. So I don't need to be pounding myself more. So that's what the lead sled's for. Once I get it sighted in, it comes out of the lead sled. Once I'm done doing the testing, it comes out of the lead sled. So I said keep firing one shot and adjusting until satisfied, then fire 5-shot group to confirm.
Yep.
I do not like a 3-shot group because if you have a flyer, that's a huge percentage that you're taking out of that group. If you have a 5-shot group and you have a flyer, you've still got 4 shots to confirm. So,
Well, I'm gonna. I mean, if I'm firing 3 rounds at a
you
good
don't count.
pace. Well, I'm just saying that if I got a lightweight rifle and I'm
Right.
firing 3 rounds, that barrel's going to heat up and it may move. So, in 5 rounds, it's going to move even more.
Well, when I do my 5 shots, I'm not doing boom, 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 boom. I'm
No.
giving it some
Okay.
time to cool.
So I will put an addendum on here. 5-shot group to confirm, waiting in between shots to keep barrel cool. To keep barrel from heating up. So, all right. And then one thing I always personally do, fire a standing shot.
Good idea. Without a rest.
Yep.
Off of the 2 legs that God gave you.
Yep. Without a shooting aid.
Yep.
Fire a standing shot without a shooting aid. And the reason I say this is unless you've taken an apple seed and you're going to use the sling as they teach you to do is in there, and you always have a sling on your rifle. You need to make sure that you can make that shot at 100 yards. So, because unfortunately what a lot of people do is they spend all their time at the range with the gun in the rest or the gun on the sandbags, and they never take it off, or the gun on the shooting sticks, or the gun on the bipod or on the tripod. And then they get out in the woods and they don't have all that stuff. And they can't hit squat.
To tie into that, Mike, there's a big difference because most of my rifles are in some type of chassis. Some are very lightweight chassis. That chassis is still a hell of a lot heavier than, say, a Woodstock.
Mm-hmm. So I had a kid come into the store. I had a kid come into the store with his dad, and they were going to go out west elk hunting, and the kid wanted a Ruger RPR to go elk hunting. And I looked at his dad. His dad was right behind him, and his dad gave me that universal, my son's being an idiot look. And then he gave me the please help look. And so I grabbed the RPR, then I handed it to the kid. And I had him look it over and show it, and so yeah, this is the one you wanted to. Okay, all right. And then I took it back because I'm not gonna let the kid hold the rifle while I walk away. So I go over and grab a Savage 110 because it was closest to me. I walk back. I hand him the RPR, and I have him hold it for a couple seconds, and then I hand him and then I take the RPR back and hand him the 110. Then he realizes the weight difference. But he's still not getting it.
That's because he hasn't walked in the mountains.
He still's not getting it. So I take the 110 back, and I hand him back the RPR, and I said, do me a favor. So point that at that whitetail up there on the wall. Shoot it right in the tail. And I said, and hold that shot for, about a minute. Because you might have to hold that shot, on an elk to make sure,
Till he turns or whatever. Yeah.
Or wait for that bull to get out from the cows.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or wait for the cow to walk out from in front of the bull. And so I'm having him hold it, and I'm looking at my watch. His dad can see my watch. He can't. But his dad can see my watch, and his dad can see there is no second hand on my watch. So his dad starts chuckling. I'm counting in my head anyway. But I'm watching the kid, and after about 10 seconds, that barrel's starting to move. After about 20 seconds, that barrel's really moving, and the kid's starting to, get a little red in the face, and the arms are shaking. And for those of you who don't know, the RPR, Ruger Precision Rifle, is about 14 and a half pounds. And so I let the kid go 25 seconds. I said, all right, that's enough. He goes, holy crap. I said, yeah, that was only 25 seconds. Here, let me have that. And his dad busts out laughing. And I said, and you wanted to carry this up and down. I said, have you ever done that? And he was the right age where they'd done that stupid game where you bend over at the waist and you take the deep breaths in and then you stand up real quick and you try and breathe and you can't. And you get all lightheaded and pass out. And I said, have you ever done that? And then try and breathe? And he goes, yeah. I said, could you breathe? No. And I said, so now you can't breathe already. And then you're going to try and carry that around plus everything else. He goes, maybe that's not such a good idea, is it? So then I walked over and I grabbed him the Tika Ultralight and I handed him the RPR and he passed it back. And then I handed him the Ultralight and he went, so.
Have I done that same thing, Mike? Yes. I've actually taken my long range competition rifles out hunting.
Well, you're dumb.
You know me. I'm not the brightest guy. I've done it just so I could say I've done it.
Yeah.
And I remember taking that Lapua out and kitted out for ELR with the weight systems in it. It's got to weigh probably close to 30 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I made it up that probably a mile and a half into where I was going to sit. And normally I will hike around, and I made it to where I normally sit when I start my first glassing. I sat there the whole day. I didn't do my normal elk hunting. I was just like, yep. Nope. The next day I came out, I had my normal hunting rifle because I was like, that was a dumb move. But I said I did it. And that's why, like you did with that kid, I will tell people, I'm like, listen, you can do a lot of this stuff. However, in this day and age, you can pull the barreled action out, throw it in a lightweight stock.
So here's your advantage. You live out there.
Yeah.
You're at least starting at a higher altitude than he is. So he'd have been done for.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody wants to do a chassis and it's a hunting rifle, XLR Industries, MDT makes nice magnesium chassis. They ain't cheap. That's for damn sure. But you'll get all that stuff. But there's also decent, Macmillan makes nice stocks. And if you want the adjustability, you don't need the full chassis if you don't want that.
Boyd's AT1.
Yeah. The first cow elk I took was a Savage 110 338 Win Mag and a Boyd's AT1. And honestly, that was a very comfortable rifle to shoot and pack.
Yeah.
Biggest
I mean, a Boyd's AT1, or if Magpul makes one for it, Magpul's stocks are pretty adjustable. There's a couple other companies out there that are making some polymer stocks that are adjustable. I get the point behind the chassis, wanting the chassis, because you want to be able to adjust your length of pull and your cheek rest. But there's other ways to do it without the weight and without the expense, because weight savings cost money, and people don't realize that. I think the exception of the rule is Tika's line of rifles. Their lights and ultralights are obscenely cheap.
Well,
for what you get.
I think the point is that the old adage is that ounces equal pounds and pounds
Pounds
equal
equal
pain,
pain.
and uh, a lot of hunters that I've seen have um, used what I would consider an overweight rifle in hunting.
Hmm.
Um, they want, the big thing 20 years ago was Leopold came out with their 50 millimeter glass
Yeah.
on their scopes. Well, everybody that was hunting was, still using the 40. But the new guys would come out with the 50s, and oh, look at that.
Mm.
Well, now you just added a whole bunch of weight to that scope. And now we're in the 30s and 34 millimeter tubes and big objectives and everything else. And we have scopes that people are looking at to go hunting with that are in the 3 and 4 pound range almost.
Well, it's
Oof.
like when we had Mike from Gideon on. He was
Mhm.
talking about the ELR scope they're coming out with. He's like, it's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not going to be your hunting scope. I mean, can you hunt with it? Like he said, sure. But it's not going to be something you want to throw on your normal hunt rifle. There's going to be other options out there. And I'm pretty sure they'll come out with other options.
I will say there is something to be said if you're in an area, especially whitetails, Wisconsin. They are famous in a couple of the areas that I've hunted for that first half hour and that last half hour. That's where that 50 millimeter scope objective is going to pay dividends over the 40. For the rest of the day, no.
Mhm.
It's that half hour of dawn and that half hour of dusk that the 50 millimeter objective lens makes a difference. The rest of the day, it's a wash, other than field of view.
Well, it's
And
like for the
most
elk out here,
hunters
Mike.
would never notice.
Yeah, it's like for the elk out here. The bigger objective makes a world of difference, allowing that light in to differentiate the elk
Yeah.
because they're usually moving right in the morning
Hmm.
or and most of the time when we're elk hunting, we're out there at dark 30 set in place and we're trying to see if we can catch them where we know they are. And yeah, we'll stick around to a little bit, probably about 9-10 in the morning. But after that, we'll take the rest of the day off and then we'll head back out about 4-5 in the afternoon, see if they're going to start coming out of the wood line. And then as that sun goes down, it's nice to have that extra light coming in the scope.
Yeah. Now, I mean, for probably 90% of the hunters in Wisconsin, a 3 to 9 by 40 scope is perfect.
Yep.
Maybe a 4 to 12 by 40. But
Most places that's all you need. I'm sorry.
no, you're right.
I've I've been hunting,
Anything
since
east
I
of the
was
Mississippi, basically, literally.
even out west. A 3 to 9 scope. I've been hunting since I've been 12, and that's
Hmm.
we're talking a lot of years. A 3 to 9 scope, good scope, not a piece of junk, but a good 3 to 9 scope
Oh, you mean I shouldn't use a
will.
Barska?
Well,
I
I,
agree with
I'm
you, Paul. I might go a little bit bigger than a 3 to 9, but I would make it up on a really good set of binos to spot what my target is.
Right. And
I'd
that's
I'll wear a good set of binos any day of the week. I mean,
mhm.
that's um, it's ridiculous what a good set of binos costs now. I have a set of Pentex that have probably got more miles on them than than most cars, and
Oh, but you can't beat a good set of Pentax. I mean, you
you
really
know
can't. Those
they
were those
I
were just absolutely awesome in the day.
I think I paid like $300 for them, and
Mhm.
that's way back. I mean, that was, oh geez, 30 plus years ago.
My
And
grandpa, my grandpa had a pair, and we were sitting up in the top row in the outfield at Old Tiger Stadium, and I could read the writing on the catcher's glove.
hmm yeah,
So,
you
excuse me,
know, but
Ken, that's PRS, not hunting. Shush.
uh, nowadays a good set of binoculars is running you $2,000. A decent set's $1,000.
But some of them aren't even that good for that price. So,
Yeah.
no, what Ken said is PRS shooting push to 800 yards at 15 to 18 power on the rifles. So you don't need any more than that for hunting. No. The problem is people are not getting a good set of binos. They're buying cheap binos and they're using their scope as binoculars, and that's not what it's for. The binoculars are to locate your game. The scope is to finish the hunt. So,
How many times in Wisconsin have you been flagged by somebody up in a tree stand aiming a rifle at you because he hears sound coming and
uh-huh.
you're wearing, blaze orange, and oh, it's you. Okay,
I have a simple answer
uh,
for that. I shoot back.
yeah. That's why they make binoculars.
Mm-hmm.
So you
I've
don't.
literally hollered that because I've hunted public land all my life. I'm not blessed enough to have
Mhm.
private land to hunt on. And so I'm always looking. I'm always paying attention, and that's what I holler.
Yeah.
If I see a gun coming my direction, I holler. I shoot back.
Yeah.
So,
But it's it's very important that people learn to
proper tool for the proper job.
right. And a pair of binoculars, a good pair of binoculars, are going to tell you what's an ear and what's an antler and what's a nose before you can see it in your
Well,
rifle scope.
how many times does somebody smoke a buck with antlers that are just above the ears using their scope? And if they had a pair of binoculars, they would have seen it,
hmm
but they
Or
didn't.
that big deer that's just sitting out right at the 300-yard range in the thicket, laying down, and you if you got a good pair of binoculars, you're going to see it, but you're not going to see it with a scope
No.
unless you have a scope that again weighs um, forever, pounds. Uh, Binoculars, they do weigh something. I'll say that, but you're carrying them close to your chest. They're here,
Yeah.
and you use two hands to bring it up to look through like this. With a rifle scope, you're up there. You got to do, one of these numbers and maybe set it on something to
Mm-hmm.
to try to see, and you're hurting yourself because you're trying to see through the scope to get an idea what's there.
Ooh.
Well, if you're worried about your binos flopping around, there's enough companies that make nice
Steiner's actually got some
chest rigs
affordable
out
ones.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Steiner's got some
exactly.
affordable
Yeah.
binoculars. They got their tactical 1042s for only $600 at Cabela's. That's a good sniffle you got there.
If you don't have a good bino harness, the sales are getting ready to start coming along here in a few weeks.
There's a number of companies that make good bino harnesses, and
Mm-hmm.
that will also keep snow and rain off the lenses and everything else.
Mm-hmm. And if you can afford the really good ones, Loophole and Vortex have some mid-range ones that are in that $100 to $300 range. They're going to get you better than worse, but
put it this way:
ooh,
a good shooter, a good hunter is going to save and spend a minimum of $300 on a pair of binoculars,
yeah,
and
Zeiss
that's
has got a pair of $500 set too.
yeah. And unless you're going out west, stay away from the 10 buys.
Yeah,
Get, eight by 50s or 8x40s are all you need for out east. Out west, yeah, okay. 10 power is nice. You used to look at the Leopold Mark IV spotting scopes, and $500 back in the day. Now what are they? 2 grand plus?
I'm not even sure.
Kawa used to be big in inexpensive spotting scopes. Now they're you might as well just call them
And don't buy
uh,
the pocket binoculars.
no, God no.
So, but excuse me. Sorry, Chris.
Give me something to do.
Yeah. Okay. So and the use a good quality rest that won't shift, fire one shot, adjust crosshairs or dot. Adjusting a dot is a little harder on a pistol. It's a little harder to hold in one spot. It can be done. By George, it can be done.
And
That's
remember,
pretty sure.
the closer you are, the more clicks you got to put into it.
Mm-hmm. And if you're gonna buy a Milrad scope, learn how to do Milrad. So
That's a whole show.
yeah, I need to learn that at some point in time. Now, what I've heard, at least for long distance, it's so much easier. Allegedly, it's easier. Period. But whatever. I don't know yet because I don't know. But I'm used to using MOA. So
Well, it's based on tens. Okay,
right.
that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So but yeah, I mean, as far as your pistols, the biggest thing with your dots is you don't have that audible click usually, like you do with a rifle scope. So you kind of gotta. Well, I don't know. Does this one? Let's find out. I've got one right here.
I think it depends on who the manufacturer is, because
Yep.
I've only got 2 red dots, but
My aim points are have clicks.
Yeah. Well, your aim points are also $500. So I really got to send my Leatherman off and get it fixed. Amazingly enough, you're not supposed to use your flathead on your Leatherman as a molding removal tool. Oops. Wow. I'm impressed, Crimson Trace. I'm impressed.
Clicks you can feel or hear.
And here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got a double.
Damn right. I'm impressed. So, this is a sweet little unit. It's got a
When you
riser.
gonna
I don't know what I'm put it on. I'll put it on something.
when you gonna test it out?
I don't know. I'm going shooting Sunday.
Pictures already didn't happen. Just kidding.
I'll make sure Ken takes pictures of me.
I'm still trying to talk Stacy into let me shoot out the back door. I got suppressors. I don't know what the issue is.
Poor Stacy. Has anyone done a wellness check on her?
She flipped him off earlier, so I guess she's okay. Ooh, it's got a battery included. It's got the little tab on there. I don't think I'll take that off until actually I go to use it. So I don't know. I might put this on my shotgun. I haven't thought about it. So I don't know. I'll put it on something. I thought about putting it on my 22 pistol, but then that means I got to move to a different class. And I don't want to move myself to that class yet for Steel Challenge. So anyway. So this is the awesome patch of the month. Here is Ryan Cross's rough draft. So, and then that is what the sticker looks like. Gun grabbers, they suck. Attack of the gun grabbers. Should all be run over by buses. So you got zombies trying to grab your modern sporting rifle. So. And your point is, Ken? Dick. Run over to Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co. Sign up to be a Patch of the Month Club member there. Or if you want to be a Patch of the Month Club member and support the podcast, you can do that at reloading or firearmsradio.net. Oh, I forgot the whole freaking website's back up. Yeah. Firearmsradio.net/ we got some new shows again. Good grief. I gotta check out these shows. Categories / podcast / reloading -2 and click on support this show. So while you're there, if you click on buy our merch, it'll take you over to Southern Gals Crafts webpage, which shows off our reloading podcast shirts like Paul's wearing and tumblers like I have and Chris has. Handy.
I have.
Sharenda's is packed somewhere.
No, it's not. I drank out of it this morning. It's currently in the sink to be washed.
All right then. So
I'll show you a picture tomorrow.
All right then. So you can get those. We've on the back of the T-shirt. You can get it plain, or you can get the one where it says an anatomy of a pew. We also have can koozies. We have hoodies.
The hoodies are nice.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got a couple of T-shirts and hoodies making fun of the ATF because why not? So swing over there, check them out. Like I said, patriotpatch.co. Swing over there, check them out. All sorts of good stuff there, and then also Southern Gals Crafts. Get that cool stuff there. Then we've got Camerado. So, say goodbye to the same old bland camo designs. Camerado brings a fresh, cool edge to camouflage. It's designed not just to function, but to turn heads. Camerado, you're not just wearing camo, you're making a statement. Unlike traditional camo, Camerado is crafted for both performance and fashion. It's perfect fusion of functionality and style, ensuring you look as good as you feel no matter the setting. So one of the nice things about Camerado is it's not just a standard plain old boring camo. That is the Basilisk, and then this is the Warden. By the way, this is limited edition. They don't even offer the bucket hats for sale anymore. So, haha, suckers! Show you all the fun colors that Sean's got rocking over here. So we've got Nightshade, we've got High Garden. High Garden actually raises funds for breast cancer prevention month, and that's going to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. It's got all sorts of different cool stuff. Pajama pants I highly recommend. They're so friggin' comfy, and they hold up really well. They don't pill like a lot of things. So you got Winterfell, Radical, Emberstorm, Scout, Merc, Night's Watch, Basilisk, like I have, Sunspear, Raider, and Warden, like I showed you. And then they paired with Gun Collective for Sea Smoke. And then Clover Tack for Pewty Fruity. So make sure you swing over to camerado.com. Check them out. All the different fun stuff there. Use coupon code RELOAD for 5% savings. Harold Anderson wants to know, how did Jim do with the hurricane? Jim is actually on the eastern part of North Carolina, so he had a little bit of rain, but that's about it. No damage from the hurricanes. So
Good.
Things went well there. Yeah, make sure you swing over there, check them out. So Camerado, Patriot Patch Company, and Southern Gales Crafts. So hit us up at reloadingpodcast@gmail.com if you want to get a link for the Discord, or you can find us on MeWe. You can find us on Signal. We have a little chat going on there. It's not very active, but we do have it on there. And then we're also on Facebook and Instagram. So all the different places to find us. Next week, we'll get back to the shot shell stuff. So, and that's all I got for that. And I'll cover on how badly I did for shooting. So, but I don't care because I actually got outshot. It'll be my second match ever, so that's fun. But that's all that matters. And the best part, it's gonna be 71 friggin' degrees on Sunday here. It's gonna be gorgeous. 71 and sunny. Ooh, what a beautiful day to go shooting. So anyway, so I will think about you all while I'm at the range on Sunday, laughing at Ken, even though I'm sucking. And anybody got any shout outs? Bueller.
I want to send a shout out to Alpine Optics and Latitude Saddle that came out to go wild and items us.
Tell Tyler to get off his dead ass and get in here and talk about the optics that he's supposed to be talking to us about. He's supposed to be coming on and talking about the night vision.
I will be bullying Tyler. He's sick of me. I need to send him a shirt that says I'm sick of her.
Ken, I may have jinxed you, but I didn't jinx me because I'm not expecting anything. So,
Ken, when are you coming back through the KC area?
So, anyway, shout out to Chris for putting your surgery aside and coming and hanging out. Oh, the weather. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I jinxed us for the weather. Oh. Well, maybe it's gonna be like snowy and like 20 on Sunday then. I that's what I heard. I heard the forecast is gonna be like snowy and 20, not 71 and sunny. I'm sorry. I had it all wrong. So
Hey, Mike, you know what you should post on the Instagram or social medias? Your range bag that day.
my
Yeah.
range bag my range bag for that day will pretty simple.
Whatever's in Ken's range bag.
No, it'll be. Oh, I gotta find a soft case. It'll be a. It'll be my green bag. But I'll take all the ammo out of it other than the 22s, and then it'll be. That's about it. I won't have the staple gun or anything in there because I won't need it because I'm shooting steel. So, but anyway, on that note, keep your brass shiny.
Shoot smarter, not harder.
Teach a lady how to reload and let her pinch off your stash.
Grandpa told me not to listen to my mama because violence does solve problems.
Especially when you properly apply serious putty. Make sure you're supporting the Second Amendment. Make sure you're registered to vote. Get out and vote. Make sure if you know somebody that isn't registered to vote, help them. Help them get to the polls. Remember, you can't force somebody to vote the way you want them to vote, but you can help them get to the polls, and that's the biggest thing. Make sure that you're calling your elected representatives and snail mailing your elected representatives and letting them know what you think about what they're doing. Make sure that you let them know you're paying attention to what's going on. So, and make sure you're, supporting the national, local, and state organizations that are actually being helpful and not supporting organizations that aren't. So, if you're an NRA life member, it is time to start sending mail.
Yeah.
And you need to send mail to the new executive vice president, the new Wayne LaPierre, appears to be intent on making changes. I don't know about the rest of the organization. But it's anybody that's a life member needs to start seriously sending mail and not email, but regular snail mail. To really flood them.
Flood them.
And let them know that their conduct is not very becoming and that we need board reform and that we need reform on how people are chosen to be able to run for the board, because that's a big issue. That was another big issue that allowed Wayne to stay in power for as long as he did, is the nominating committee would only pick people that would continue to keep Wayne in power, and that needs to change. So if you're a life member, obviously you've already given them your money, and so if you're not a member, that's your choice on whether you want to be or not. I'm undecided right now. I'm currently a member because I'm currently not actually a member because I used media to get into the NRA annual meetings last year. So I'm debating and deciding and waiting to see. The guy has been on Tom Gresham's podcast a couple times. He talks a good game. We'll see what happens. So, but there are lots of organizations out there that need your help and your assistance. If you can't give money, call them up and ask what you can do. So, the other big thing is everybody that's recovering from Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. There were some pretty nasty storms, especially Helene. I mean, you're talking years of damage. In what is it, Chimney Rock? The river literally relocated itself with the flooding. They literally have to move the river before they can start to rebuild Main Street for the town. Because right now the river's running where Main Street used to be. You can literally watch. You can see where the sidewalk that was going along one side of Main Street literally ends, and if you were to keep going with it, you'd literally walk right into the river. So a lot of damage. Unfortunately, a lot of North Carolina, a lot of South Carolina, and a lot of Georgia, those folks didn't have flood insurance because it wasn't an option. Flood insurance isn't something you can just get magically. Most of your insurance companies don't offer it. It's very rare. Most of the time, flood insurance has to be gotten through the government, and you have to meet certain specifications to be able to get flood insurance. So all these folks that got flooded out, a lot of them couldn't have gotten flood insurance even if they wanted it, because they weren't in a floodplain, they weren't in a potential flood area. So a long road to recovery. That's going to be a lot of problems. So a lot of good organizations that are helping out and supporting, local, national organizations, and then some organizations that they're not worth supporting, and Red Cross is one of them. Do not give to the Red Cross, period. The Red Cross is a very top-heavy organization that spends a lot of money on administration and administrative costs and not a lot of money on actually doing things. So, and also call your elected representatives, especially your senators and representatives, and ask them what the hell happened with FEMA. So, but that's a whole different story for a whole different day. So, all right, folks, have a good night. Thanks again.
Good night, folks.
Good night, everyone.